Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tanner's Favorite Things. Today we have a box, and I can tell you we're going to continue kind of down this Peavey odyssey that I started a little while back, and this is a Peavey item, so let's go ahead and take a look. If you haven't caught the Peavey video series that I worked on a couple weeks ago, it includes all of the Peavey gear throughout the years that I've owned, from guitars to basses to microphones, you name it. So here we go. We have a microphone capsule. If you haven't guessed, these are microphones. And these are going to join the PVM 328 that I already have on my Big Tom. So that's what these are, PVM 328s. We have 3 of those, and those are standard Tom mics. And then we have the PVM 321, which I don't know, we'll have to look at what is what, but I think this is probably the kick microphone. And then finally the PVM 325, which probably is the snare microphone. So again, I don't know exactly what goes to what, but I can tell you that these look different and the rest of them look the same. So this, I believe, would probably be the kick mic as a result. Very sturdy construction. There's how it interfaces with your mic stand. And speaking of mic stands, we do have one of these adapters, if I can get it out, for each microphone. So if you have a microphone stand that has kind of the small insert, then you can put this in the microphone and that'll screw on the smaller side. So that just goes in there like so. That's only if you have that style of microphone case or stand, which I do not. So we'll be leaving those right where they are. However, under door number 2, let's see here, how does this work? Oh, there's a whole tray. So I can just grab it like so, and there we have door number 2. So this is a really nice little mic case, very compact, sturdy. It's plastic, but it is sturdy, solid, nice interior padding. And then we get what appears to be one of these clips for each mounted microphone, which is the snare and each tom. That's why there's only 4 instead of 5, because the bass drum mic just doesn't connect to it just doesn't interface with this style of connector. So there you go, that's the whole set. Let's go ahead and address the current microphone situation on my Tama Superstar Super Maple kit. This is my absolute favorite drum kit, and currently it has a pretty standard set of microphones around, well, semi-standard. There's some SN57s in the mix, the aforementioned Peavey PVM 328 tom microphone, as well as an AKG D5 on the snare and hi-hat, and the SEV kick, which is the newest mic acquisition before these Peavey microphones. So that's kind of the current microphone setup. So let's go ahead and get a baseline and understand what this current microphone setup sounds like, and then I'll swap them out for the Peavey complement of microphones. I'm also not proud of how these microphones are attached to everything here. You can see our duct tape excursion, not the prettiest looking mounts. This one's a little bit better. And then finally the Peavey PVM, kind of dark. Let me bump up the exposure here. You can see that this guy is actually on the clip that we're going to be installing on the 2 toms. So that's coming up after we get a quick sound sample, but that's the mic complement plus the one inside of the kick. Okay, I mentioned that these are a Tama Superstar drum, but let's go a little bit deeper into what we have on the kit today. This is a 1980-ish, I think, Tama Superstar kit in the Super Maple finish, and it does have the big boy sizes, or kind of big boy. It's not power toms, fortunately, but it is bigger sizes. A 24 by 16 inch kick, a 13 by 8 or 9 inch depth rack tom, as well as a 14 by 10, I believe, or maybe 14 by 11 rack tom here, as well as a big boy 18 by 16 inch floor tom. So big sizes on the actual drum kit. The snare that I'm playing today is a Pearl Sensitone alloy, heritage alloy or something like that. It's the brass bronze one. So it's a really, really just rowdy snare. So I cover it with this little tea towel. And it sounds like that. The cymbals, pretty simple. I've got custom A's on everything except for these two. This little splash is a Peavey PST 10-inch splash, and then a crappy old ZBT Zildjian cymbal here. You know, I hesitate to put this cymbal next to all of these beautiful custom A's, but it does the trick and it provides a different sound of crash. So here's just the cymbals. Okay, that's just the cymbals. Let's go ahead and hear everything else, starting with the snare. So that's our current microphone setup again. AKG D5, SM57s, Peavey PVM 328, and an SE V-kick on the kick. The one microphone I didn't mention is a room microphone, which right here I hesitate to call it a room microphone because it's not capturing too much of the room. It's pretty close, but I find that this is the optimal distance for a room microphone, and this is my Audio-Technica AT4033 SE microphone. So all of those mics are going to be capturing the sound, or have been capturing the sound rather, and will be replaced with the Peavey microphones. The one thing that I'm going to leave in place is this AKG D5 on the hi-hat. I'm going to move it over and just kind of train it on the hi-hat because we do have one of those clips for the snare. So that's going to isolate the snare a bit more than I have it right now, and it's probably better that I split this into a couple different microphones. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Let's swap these microphones. All right, we'll give you a little quick tour around the kit as well, but here we go. I've got an extra PVM 328. The one on the right is that extra microphone. So I put it right in front of the kick to see if it would capture sound any better than the actual kick microphone. But that's what we got there. We've got the snare mic mounted here. We've got Tom 1, Tom 2, and Tom 3, where it was before in the back of the big tom. So we've got a bunch of microphones here, 2 extras, in fact, 2. So we've got 2 microphones on the kick, plus the extra one on the hi-hat here, the D5. So, okay, so here's another little factoid that I thought was interesting before we play this array of microphones. Peavey is still making this particular set of microphones today. I guess that shouldn't be shocking, as you know, they invested a lot in this intellectual property. They might as well use it if it's still good. And some of the specs that I found are that the kick drum has a response, a very low response of 20 hertz, and I believe it goes up to 10K hertz. The frequency response on the PVM 328 is 50 hertz to 16K hertz, and then the snare microphone, the PVM 325, has a much narrower frequency range of 20 to 12.5K hertz. So that's the narrowest range, but that's right where that snare sits. So let's start with the snare and hear what it sounds like. So far, the waveform in the DAW looks pretty similar to what the AKG D5 had, so I don't think I need to adjust the gain at all. These are all dynamic microphones, so no 48-volt phantom power. Everything we have is powered by the preamp itself. So here again is the snare with the PVM 325. So that's the snare microphone. Here's the isolated D5 on just the hi-hat. And let's go through the toms real quick. So it looks like the kick microphone in our ADAT 2 channel is peaking a little bit. Let me adjust that very quickly. I had the gain cranked on that, so that would be why. Now it's probably too low. So there's the toms. Here is the kick. Now we're gonna just hear both microphones blended together, and then I'll split them out. But first, here's the kick with both microphones. Again, I think our gain is too high on ADAT channel 2, so that's got to come down again. I did notice that these clips are not the sturdiest things on earth, so you might have to do a little tightening here and there, maybe shim them out a little bit. I don't know if that's necessary, but this one seems to be dipping a little bit on me. Yeah, it dips right down once you hit that tom, so I'll have to address that and make this one a little bit tighter somehow. It's got a little flathead screw that can be tightened, but that one seems okay. So I think the waveforms are looking pretty good. I'll have to isolate each track kind of in a more in-depth mix of this set of microphones just to make sure it's okay. But let's go ahead and isolate the 2 kick microphones. First, we'll hear the PVM 321, which is that low frequency designed for kick drum microphone. So here's that. Okay, let's hear the PVM 328, which is in fact a tom microphone, but it should do okay on this kick. Here you go. So there you go. I've got my work cut out for me now. I have to decide whether I like the original microphone array, the SM57s and etc., or if I can enhance my current situation with 1 or 2 of these maybe. We'll see. But of course, what sounds the best is going to be what I gravitate towards. So that's what I'm looking for, is the best quality sound. And I guess that's always the odyssey of a microphone. What can produce the best sound, I guess, for the least amount of money? And quite often, it is this guy right here, the Shure SM57. It's just so versatile, so rock solid. You could throw it off of a bridge, pick it up, and rock and roll with it. So it's hard to beat the classic, but I'll tell you, I got a really, really good deal on these microphones. They usually retail for about $300, but I only paid $100 for this whole set. And I think it's because the original cables, there's some 90-degree cables that come that are kind of special with these microphones. They were absent, so someone pilfered the cables, but everything else was there, and that's really all that I need, because obviously the cables are in place for me. But that's how I got this microphone set for $100, and I'm interested to see how it sounds. So let me know what you think. I'm gonna continue tinkering with the sound and decide what sounds best and move forward with that, but I'll provide an update here shortly with what I decide, and we'll go from there. But let me know if you have any questions, or if you have experience with this microphone setup, the PVM 32 blank set by Peavey. So far, I'm pretty impressed with it. It's pretty rock solid as far as the hardware, the actual microphone metal base is concerned, and how the XLR cable clicks in. It's very satisfying and feels like it should weather many a storm. So that's what we've got. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you like this style of content. My goal here is to showcase the gear that I love in the hopes that you love it too. So it's always a conversation with you, the audience, who's trying to learn a little bit as well. So I'm Tanner Knight. I hope to see you on the next one.